You know this is super more. I feel I'm more than extraordinary. This music giving me life. You know this is super more, moving more than extraordinary. This moment giving me life. My morena, señorita, you look extraordinary, love. It's giving me sight. You know you're giving me sight. Know you're feeling quite unique. Must be a legendary love. It's giving me might. You know it's giving me might. I ain't playing no games when I say that I want it. Yeah, I want it, baby. On a scale from 1 to 10, feel about 100. I'm on 100, baby. Baby, 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 baby. I'm on 100, baby, 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 baby. You're on 100, baby, 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 baby. We on 100, baby, 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 baby. We on 100. You know this is super more, sounding more than extraordinary. Music giving me life. You know this is super more. Know this magic is necessary. Know it's giving me life. Ain't playing no games when I say that I want it. Oh no, I want it, babe. I want it, baby. Scale from 1 to 10, I feel about 100. Oh, I got 100, babe, 100, baby.
I be just sitting and reminisce on what's really vital. Spirit lifted, I'm on a mission to self-revival. Dreaming of having it all, at least the things I'm right for. When all I needed was love, and from no one inside you. No God told me that in the truth is the thing that guides you. And just remember to love, the one thing to find you. The truth is I'm a good kid that's here to spread love and use that music to do this. I made that interchange from being reckless and ruthless. One of self-respect and the strength and smoothness. I ooze this. Find your inner balance, repeat the cycle. In elite means harmony with the one inside you. We all one in this universe. Human beings and earthlings, but we spirits first. All my people on earth royalty, and every person with a dream needs nurturing. Notice me that zoom, 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 zoom. Amores. Notice me that zoom, 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 zoom. Amores. Notice me that zoom, 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 zoom. Amores. Notice me that zoom.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, ayy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, ayy. Who you talking about when you say oh my God, ayy? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, wait. Some know Thor, some know Hades, some know Zeus, that's my baby. I've been slaying gods lately, oh my god, oh my. Some know Isis, that's my lady. Nowadays, people shady. Either way, it's fuck you pay me, oh my god, oh my. I just know the way, ayy, I just know the truth. What's up? Live it every day, bet I show you proof. I just know the way, ayy, I just know the truth. What? Live it every day, what's up? Bet I show you proof. My conception was immaculate, trajectory was accurate. Before Protestants and Catholics, reality I was hacking it. Goddamn. Before Abraham, too, before he split up both his sons, before the Muslim and the Jew. Look, some know Thor, some know Hades, some know Zeus, that's my baby. I've been slaying gods lately, oh my god, oh my. Some know Isis, that's my lady. Nowadays, people shady. Either way, it's fuck you pay me, oh my god, oh my. I just know the way, ayy, I just know the truth. What's up? Live it every day, bet I show you proof. I just know the way, ayy, I just know the truth. What? Live it every day, what's up? Bet I show you proof. You say my God, but what's its name? Stuck with titles, such a shame. Worship God like it's a game. You pray to God to give you fame. Angel Mike, I'm heaven's mage, here to free you from your cage. Now we in the last days, it's time to turn another page. Some know Thor, some know Hades, some know Zeus, that's my baby. I've been slaying gods lately, oh my god, oh my. Some know Isis, that's my lady. Nowadays, people shady. Either way, it's fuck you pay me, oh my god, oh my. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, ayy. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, ayy. Who you talking about when you say oh my god, ayy? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, wait.
Supernatural is an app where you can access exclusive content from the Peace Deal. On the app features 2 seasons of the Midheaven podcast featuring Beyond the Veil. We also have Mystical Illuminations Television, which features membership exclusive content like the monthly tribe reports and the replays of the monthly peace reports we do every month. We also have exclusive series like World War Zero and Astrological Profiles. These series are examples of content that you can access on the app before they are eventually scheduled to YouTube and other social media platforms. For example, My Planets Through the Sign series will be scheduled to release once a week. However, as they are uploaded on the app, you will have full access to the entire series weeks before any of them appear on any other platform. We also offer easily accessible and interactive courses like my Astro 101 to Astro 105 series that give you a thorough introduction to astrology. We will also be periodically adding courses, and as those courses are available, members will be able to access them. We also have an amazing community that you are most welcome to join and chat with other like minds. It is not necessary to subscribe in order to use this app, as there is also a free default access plan that will give you access to most of the series in the app that are free and publicly available. In order to join, go to the website supernatural.passion.io. You can alternatively download from the App Store passion.io. Once the app is downloaded and it asks to find an app, simply type in Supernatural. Once the app itself is approved by Google and Apple, you will only need to type in Supernatural in the App Store and it will pop up. But until then, those are 2 alternative methods you can use to join us. So with all that being said, I look forward to you joining us on the other side as you become supernatural.
Super duper natural. What's up, y'all? Welcome to your full moon in Capricorn ceremony powered by StreamYard. All right, I'm gonna upgrade again. But yes, that being said, shout out to y'all in the chat. Please make sure to like that button and subscribe. And click the link in the description box below. If you haven't joined my app, what are you waiting for? I think the last video I showed you guys was part 1 of my new astrological profile series. Part 2 is done, baby. So plan to release this content in August. I'm gonna actually push it to August. That way, I'll have something dropping pretty much every day. Okay, so we'll see how I can. We'll see how much more I can produce in between. Then, I'm working to get like 6 months of content. What I was gonna do was do a World War Z season 1 recap, and I might do it, but instead, I'm just gonna jump into season 2 and reference season 1. So we see that Shay and Zozan have joined Infinity Club. Just to let you guys know, August is going to be the last month of the YouTube membership. So I do have Infinity Club available on the application. Okay, for those of you who do go to the app, you will see this here. So let me actually show you what that'll look like. Basically, I kind of made sure to keep similar themes here. Shout out to Janarian. Okay, so basically, you go down here. Oh shit, shish kebab. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't think about that. So let me put the HTTP her. Although you could copy and paste it there too, but let me do that real quick. All right, so basically, you click this link. Boom. Now you go to, oh shit. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. So you click this link. It takes you to Supernatural. What the fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, I see. I see. That's what's happening. You click that link. It takes you to Supernatural. Right? And then, of course, on Supernatural, you know what? This is actually my login, but never mind. What I wanted to show you was basically the different tiers. We have Infinity Club, and then we have Almighty Summit. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. Those of you guys who are joining YouTube, highly recommend you join the app instead. Everything that you have on the YouTube membership will be available on the app starting in August, or starting in August, of course. I will just unlist these videos, and then you can catch the replay on the app. Okay, and of course, yeah, actually, shout out to Elaine, shout out to Chad, and shout out to Ethan. I'm doing video editing with them a little bit now, but it's going to be more. And then, yeah, soon, if I have a camera guy, that'll be dope. Drop shit, still moving, taking the meaning of Infinity Game to a new level. Another important thing to know is if you don't want to buy a membership, you can still access the app for free. So my Magic Moon messages, I wouldn't say every video on YouTube's there, but pretty much the essentials. Transit talks are free. You don't ever have to pay to see a transit talk. When I bring that series back, you can watch it on the app. Magic Moon messages are going to be there. Daily Asshole Tarots are going to be there. So it's definitely, I definitely still invite all the Midheaven podcast episodes for free. And each of the courses you can take up to a certain portion for free. So I still highly recommend you check it out. We've got a community in there. And other than that, here we go. All be opportunity cost. Nothing in life is free. Everything has an opportunity cost. But that being said, you know what I mean? Meaning, of course, your time, right? Nothing in life is free, meaning, you know, whether you're paying money or not, there's still an opportunity cost, right? Like the time you could have taken to do something, you're doing this instead. So regardless, your support is, of course, highly valued. And as you can see, the moon is opposite the sun from Capricorn to about Cancer. Okay, and thank you guys so much. It's looking forward to see how much we can expand with this. Your support directly is going to help me a lot. Once I end the YouTube membership, the last bit of like monthly income I gain from this will pretty much drop off. So for those of you who are YouTube members, please transition over to the app. I'm begging you, or at least I beseech thee. Not that you really have to though. Like if you're not able to, you don't have to. This is just for anyone who's already a paying member. This will just help the transition process perfectly. We have a 30-day and 7-day free trial, 7-day for the Almighty Summit, 30-day for the Infinity Club. So you'll get the month free, or the first 7 days free if you're the higher tier. But yeah, other than that, guys, let's do this. First thing I wanted to speak on, this is the last individual transit before we integrate into the social stage of Leo. All right. And one thing to keep in mind that I think you've been experiencing, especially with Pluto, that's, still in Aquarius, is this individual versus collective, individual versus social aspect, especially with Uranus and Gemini, that's having you tap more into this telepathic connection subtly, but still, there. I don't want to necessarily specify you're telepathically communicating with this person versus a collective frequency that your brain now, of course, tries to make sense of, probably puts a context to, but it's outside and beyond that. This first stage is you just hearing the transmission. Once again, in a beginning stage like this, like just starting to do construction, there's going to be rubble everywhere. It's going to feel like auditory hallucinations. It's going to feel schizophrenic. And that's just your brain getting ready to tap into this before it smoothens out. Some of you are already highly powerful telepaths, so it's smooth for you, but you want to give yourself that leeway. It's supposed to feel weird as fuck because you're tapping into kind of like a hive mind. You're tapping into the collective frequency of millions of people's thoughts, kind of like a cloud, right? And then also kind of being subverted by, narratives and false beliefs around this not existing and it just being in your head, even though your head is just a component through which you tap into this. The reason why I'm saying that is you can feel the jumping. You can feel that that opposition. You can feel that struggle or friction relative to your individual thoughts interfacing and feelings and values interfacing for with a lot of negative, dark, repressed, suppressed, unhealed energies, ideas, narratives that may be used at you to demoralize you, to shame you, to guilt you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of extraordinarily weak things, people, constructs that are threatened by your confidence and strength. Not necessarily in a personal way, though. It's not necessarily like, oh, we have something against you. It's purely frequency. So it's like your frequency clashes with their frequency. And as a result, it is clashing to submit you to it when you have to make it your bitch. Let me say that again. Your bitch. Whip it, smack it, physically or physically abuse or mentally abuse it. Do not allow that to do it to you. And you stand on the grounds that you are not less than you are. So anyone who wishes to see you or act like you're that, a full moon like this is going to bring things full circle, because a lot of people take action out of ignorance and insecurity. And when they can't necessarily persuade you in the way they want to persuade you, they flurry in a huge storm of ad hominem fallacies, red herring, straw men, just to kind of, escape really the truth of the situation in an effort to just put you down, because you're not swayed by their persuasive elements, their false ethos, their majority pathos, their misleading logos, which isn't really logos. So that being said, you just believing in yourself, you actively playing out your belief systems, living them, is more than enough. You don't need to really fight people. You could protest or fight in the sense of just standing on your values, quite literally, which of course will always threaten those who place their values on shifting sand, place a lot of values on just controversial, things to be said with little to no real substance in it, especially if you cherry pick or kind of take advantage of others who may not be as versed in your topic, so you sound smarter. That being said, or knowledgeable, more knowledgeable, you could look forward to this full moon as a total or huge breakthrough. And I called it the breakthrough of psychic power evolution because the new moon that we had 2 weeks ago was, well, the activation of psychic power evolution that actually did what was necessary to, well, activate this new psychic power evolved with Jupiter. So for the past 2 weeks, you have effectively been taking the water jug that is your psyche and your emotions, the water which rules like most of your body, and you've been expanding the nature of this jug, which means now the water in the jug is being filled up. And I want you to look at Jupiter that's going to transit from 7 degrees to the rest of Cancer as now filling that water jug up in a way that prepares you accordingly to now feel how much more powerful you are. And once again, that's where, of course, much of this really comes in. Let me do something real quick. Shout out to Tarot Bro. Okay. I do want to show you the card that he pulled for this full moon.
For this full moon tarot, we have the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is all about quick change. The full moon is all about ending cycles. So it's going to be a change. There's going to be an end to something that you've been in a cycle for too long. So just expect it to be quick, expect it to be abrupt, but there's definitely going to be some change in your life that's coming with this full moon in Capricorn.
All right, boom. So yeah, Eight of Wands usually correlates with Mercury and Sag. We have Mercury in Leo getting ready to retrograde later. We have Uranus in Gemini. Uranus in Gemini is moving full speed towards the synchronization. 2008 to 2025 was Uranus in Taurus. And what you want to think of that is, I don't think 4G or 5G is the best analogy, but imagine like you went from dial-up to just wireless, right? And now that 7-year stretch was technology all around your infrastructure or infrastructure all around you being innovated to shift from something as archaic as dial-up to now high-speed wireless internet. Whereas before, all of the products you saw had some dial-up, corded phone get-up, which once again is not the best analogy. Now that Uranus is out of Taurus, everything is wireless. Now, this isn't the best analogy because we're replacing all the wireless shit and we're taking to another level. But this is the physiological function of your body being innovated. Now that it's in Gemini from 2025 to 2033, where after 2033, it'll be in Cancer with Saturn. So Saturn's going to catch up to Uranus, which it hasn't last been over since our birth, 1990, 88, 89. We're going to have that opposition. What this is really beautiful is that this is where now that we have innovated the physiological function of course, channeling, tapping into, processing extra dimensional energy auto-nervously. Now Gemini fully expresses it. The slowness that comes with Taurus is diabolically quick in Gemini. It's maniacal. All right. You're going to hear Gemini say the most terrifying things. It's going to be fun for us. It's going to be terrifying for anyone who's probably not an air sign or somewhat fire. But that being said, you know what I mean? Like this is what is facilitating this near instant synchronization. And it's important to know that it's not coming out of nowhere. A lot of this, of course, has come through the groundedness of this Taurus transit through these cycles, the subsequent conjunctions, squares, and oppositions, and then third quarter squares over and over for 7 years has broken in more how much, supernaturally you can sense physically. Okay. The Aquarian supernatural is a causal mind, higher mental quality that's not tangible, that's not physical. This is why science calls this science fiction, right? And then Pisces next to it is fantasy. But really, it is the supernatural and the metaphysical. Postmodern materialist reductionist science will never catch up to this just because of the fundamental, stupidity of it. All right. So this is where now that you are embodying this next level into being the pioneers that bring more science, knowledge, and sense to this, hence the new generation. It's going to innovate every scientific field moving forward, for better or for worse. It's nice to be a part of this history. And this is everyone who's a part of it, whether we all agree with certain things or not. We're entering more realms that kind of go beyond, you know, contemporary to ancient research institutions. It's going to feel a lot like a reset and a renaissance, revisiting everything we thought we knew and realizing, oh, looks like there's a new way to understand it, transforming the knowledge with which we operate with. But some of you are already living it. So just keep that in mind. Before this comes out mainstream, some of you are already tapping into it, experiencing it, having experiences that pretty much betray a lot of classical laws of physics, biology, but don't necessarily like debunk it, just give you a brand new understanding of it. We're transcending the limitations of the human mind. And now with Pluto, Aquarius, and Uranus and Gemini, everything is set now to where throughout the rest of the decade, collectively, individuals such as yourself are going to be mastering what Star Wars calls the Force, what Hunter x Hunter calls Nen, what Naruto calls chakra, what Dragon Ball Z calls ki, what JoJo's Bizarre Adventure calls ripple and stands. Like, this is not specific to this transit, because the Pluto Capricorn Uranus Taurus from 2008 with Pluto and then 2018 with Uranus, we're awakening the physiological component of this. So before you actually work on the actual fun force stuff, you had to awaken your body. You had to release trauma in your body. You had to take the hose with your physiological nature that creates and produces this electricity through your electromagnetic, you know, energy produced from your heart, the electricity that, like, you are a walking power plant. Like, you constantly have electricity flowing through you. We're like living robots. I mean, we're not robots, right? But you know, we are living programs that we have to actively program based on what we think, because every thought you have. And this is why law of assumption and manifestation is so important. Manifestation is not some trick that I'm just going to do this. You're constantly doing it even now. Your thought, you think like I think 10,000 to up thoughts a day. You think thousands of thoughts a day. So all law of assumption and manifestation is telling you is the thoughts you're already thinking unconsciously and consciously, steer them towards what it is you want. Think as if it's there. And this is where, for those of you, and I love really speaking on this, because you can see, I was guilty of this too. You can see how people just get in their own way when you let people know that it's as easy as just saying, this is what I want and this is what it is. You see people's programming rear their ugly head. It's like, no, a lot of you have been brainwashed to believe, because that's all you know and that's all you've seen. It's been hammered to you. Ethics of hard work. I got to do this. I have to just keep trying over and over. I have to wait for a process. You've been lied to your whole life. You've been lied to your whole life. The CIA has been hired remote viewers, psychics, in order to look at a Project Stargate. None of this shit is new. They've been doing it since even before the 60s. And they realize we cannot let ordinary people remember who they are. I'm not going to say there's a conspiracy behind hiding it, but I will say it is a fact that remote viewers, psychics have been hired by more than just the CIA. None of this shit is new. That's very important. People have been practicing this through the ancient times until you were indoctrinated and basically lied to about almost everything, especially history. And you've basically been nerfed so that you don't really tap into these. And you are now shown sci-fi movies and fantasy movies that now trick you into believing, oh, this only exists here, when you do this every day. 97, and I'm throwing that percentage out there, % of people attribute their own power to coincidences, some God in the sky. When you are the temple of God, it's all within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The list goes on. So don't take my word for it. Like, I'm not saying that so you can be like, oh, the peace dealer said this is the truth. I'm telling you what you already know. So you're going to continue to experience this. Now that we're out of the physiological component of this, and we're stepping into a purely mental quality of this, you're going to be experiencing this yourself. And a lot of people, more of which are going to be admitted into mental hospitals because they don't know their power. So they're going to attribute it to something external. You're going to realize, oh, I've been prepared for this my whole fucking life. Oh, everything that I was told I was crazy for believing. Look at all of that shit actually being true and happening. And I don't mean specific to just psychic ability. A lot of these are deductions, whether inductively or analysis, whether inductively or deductively you've made, psychically influenced or not. It's a whole new playing field that we're coming into, and the technology is going to represent that. So look at the nature of people. Some people are just fucking evil, and that's what I want to move into more now. There is a science to evil, and you're going to notice more who does what they do because they're evil and they know how to look good or pretend to be good, and who does what they do because they're really just a puppet of evil. I want to make it really that black and white. Is it that black and white? No, but for the purpose of this, let's make it that black and white. And what I mean is who actively, because now at this point you're standing on proper values. You've been tested on these values. Saturn and Pisces tested you on your beliefs. If you made it through Saturn and Pisces intact, your belief systems have integrity in them. So as you stand on those values, who actively seeks to push you down, call you names, try and invoke guilt or shame? Do not project anger at that person. That is a useless puppet with Agent Smith syndrome. They have weak little bitch syndrome, WSLB or WLBS, okay? SLBS, stupid little bitch syndrome. Don't argue with people like that. They're puppets for evil. So when you now feed into that energy and they bring you down to their level, it is 100,000% beneath you. This is why they engage in that behavior. Let me remind you that literally nobody with any like actual security within themselves engages in that behavior. Nobody who is actually a good person, nobody who is actually not evil feels the need to feel better than somebody else, feels the need to try and put you down because you disagree with them. Only evil people do that. And we are in a unique period where evil people more than ever openly snitch on themselves. It's my form of entertainment right now, where you know certain people can be given into their delusions and believe cooking when they're really just exposing the ugliest parts of their behavior, because really they've been corrupted a long time ago. All right. It's seen in the way they contradict a lot of their own narratives in favor of just turning heads. It's seen in the way people completely lose themselves if just the slightest inconvenience happens. It's seen in the way that when you speak on truth, people will do everything possible to just try and sully your name, to silence you. But they're learning that that doesn't work on you. You've had considerable amount of juju and black magic done on you. They're learning that you're protected and that there is judgment and that there is retribution for any weapon that was tried against you, which would have never prospered. Okay, they're having to learn this the hard way. You are not to be fucked with. The most they can do is make fun of this, but then why are they here? Like, very contradictory facets. You're dealing with people who will, with one mouth, say, oh, you're not even important, we could care less about you, but they have to tune into you every time to hate. That's someone who's obsessed with you. Why? Because you're someone or something they'll never be. Because you took the real work to work on yourself. They spiritually bypassed. Okay, so, you know, pat yourself on the back. This full moon in Capricorn, of course, is breaking through over the next week. Your understanding of utilizing not only these evolving psychic powers, but now really understanding at a collective level what you can do with this emotional or psychic body, and how to take the concept of psychic power outside of some fantasy genre and actually really express it, which what Mars in the analytical sign of Virgo on the South Node will unlock as far as this magic potency or strategic action orientation. Okay. There's going to be more of an unfuckwitableness coming through you once again because of just 2 short weeks of activating and integrating this. And what you're going to realize is your sureness, your understanding of self makes others who wish to have leverage over you directly or indirectly very uncomfortable because they're really weak as fuck. All right. Their strength is fugazi. Like they're not really real. They're as real as how they have to be when they're in front of the right people. And that's why you are their weakness, because that shit doesn't work on you and you see through them and you're actually tapped in. So moving forward, keep that in mind because we're going to go into Leo season and then we're going to oppose Pluto. And that's when the first new boss battle series will begin. So if you've been watching me through Pluto and Capricorn, you notice that every Cancer season, we talk about the boss battle. We've had like several boss battles every year. This is going to be one of the first new boss battles where now we're facing celestial threats, alien disclosure. And I don't mean aliens from the sky. I mean hybrids that are already in front of you, synthetic robots, clones. I want to actually just go batshit in my explanation just to let you know the range of what's possible. I'm saying that because with Aquarius, it's out of this world. It's nothing that we could conceive. It doesn't mean it's aliens, but it's something that's going to shock you if it was aliens, like something congruent to that, something that will probably shock you as much as alien disclosure shocking you. Okay. Something that we as humanity have never really explored. We also have 5 new conspiracy theories that may not be theories. Okay. 5 brand new, conspiracy theories that people are going to bring towards that make the previous ones look like child's play. One of those 5 theories is, of course, the thing with Jeffrey Epstein. And, I like stuff like this because it's having people question the government even more. And I have faith in America because looks like they're not really fucking stupid. You're not about to just lie to some Americans and be like, wait, so the guy who was in prison for sex trafficking, who would have actually been found innocent if he just took it to trial because there was never a client list, killed himself. Like nobody's believing that. And people are starting to research more. Mind you, there really might not be a client list. Like maybe that's true, but no one's buying it because no one's that fucking stupid. All right. So that being said, the plot thickens. And it looks like the Mossad has more of a hold on our government than we had initially suspected. No biggie. We can blame the Rothschilds and World War II. Anyway, without me sounding anti-whatever, because I'm not against that group of people at all, I just wanted to kind of cue you into the plot line of what's being thought of and said, and how moving forward from Cancer season, you're going to break through post this full moon into a highly powerful expression of what you have activated and thus integrated. All right. Beginning with this opposition as well. And what you're going to actually actively experience is you being put in a position to very powerfully, at a tangible physical level with the moon in Capricorn, control these new powers. Control the evolution of your psychic and emotional body, this subtle vibration, this subtle body of that taps into vibrations, that forgoes deductive and inductive analysis and has you really just tap into things. This sense alone, see, where people get delusional with this is they feel like that sense alone is good enough. People who, of course, be wary of people who are like, oh, I sense this psychically. I sense this psychically. That's why it has such a bad reputation, because that's the opposite side of Virgo, of analysis, where we can get too analytical and then we focus too much on stats, even though you can lie with statistics, right? Then we have the other side, the fraudulent side of Pisces. It's like, ooh, I sense that this is going to happen. Pay me $500 so I can do this. You know what I mean? Psychic ability without any translation into the literal is fraudulent. Okay. Facts without any, mirroring of the metaphysical lack substance. It's not really. It might as well it might as well be invisible, right? So you need both. What makes psychic power and psychic ability is that it translates the metaphysical with the physical. There can, to a degree, be some level of a logical explanation, maybe not around how it was discerned, but it has to prove results. Okay, this is why a lot of frauds are allowed in this industry. Barnum statements, cold readings, right? We get results over here. I've had multiple people say, "Peace dealer, I'm so glad I found you. I've paid money to get readings from other people. They can't even really read my chart accurately. I'm 5 stars for a reason." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people come to me and 3 out of 3 readings, bullseye. And there's not that much of us. We exist though. But like, this is why the work we're doing is important. We're redefining an industry that since the Dark Ages, and then even the Enlightenment era, has just been labeled fraudulent, evil, but we're preserving that tradition. Before, the Abrahamic religions copied their homework from the Egyptians, just like the Greeks and Romans, but then the Abrahamics kind of stole from the Romans as well, who were inspired by the Greeks, who were inspired by the Egyptians, who may have gotten whatever from the Sumerians. Like this age of religion that has pretty much pacified and deluded millions of people, which says a lot about those people. It's over. And there's a reason why you guys are the minds that are breaking through this, because we're out of this filler arc that has been here for years, for centuries, actually. All right. The same shit that's been shoved down your throats. In order, yes, they were definitely influenced by Hinduism was also influenced by Egypt and Kemet, amongst other things. Not just Egypt though, but they did borrow some elements: Zoroastrianism, Sumeria, and just to let you know that the foundation of anything divine or godly does not come from human beings. It's not just one culture that originated it. It's just the cultures that expressed it. This is immanent and transcendent. So these are just mythological interpretations of the divine through different cultures throughout history. But it comes from a source beyond the physical. And that's why, you know, those who are just too materialist reductionists will live and die in the 3D, never really being able to see beyond that, prepare their vessel to go beyond that. And that's what they chose. There's no need to like look down on them for that. But don't let these muggles look down on you. Laugh every time they do that. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyway, and that's where I'm saying the illusion of observation and personal experience. And it works on our end too. We can't just say, oh, we experienced it, so that's the only proof. No, people put an unprecedented amount of faith in just observation. Don't ever let somebody tell you that something doesn't exist because they haven't seen you do it. They haven't seen it happen. Where to a degree you can, but ultimately that's just boo-boo. That's the most disrespectful thing ever. Like, the average person hallucinates their entire conscious reality. They can't see beyond 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So to really now take someone's observation as proof that it's just fucking hilarious. Which if you haven't, okay, but the fact that you've actually produced, you know, and have done it, don't spend time going back and forth. And that's very important because this is the breakthrough of your psychic power evolution. The synchronicities and synchronization with which you have already experienced to get to this full moon is going to push you forward, especially moving forward from the moon by tomorrow, when we are in, of course, the Aquarius moon. All right. So the Aquarius moon, every time the moon is in Aquarius, you see it sextiling Neptune and it's trining Uranus. This is the first time the moon is in Aquarius since Uranus entered Gemini. You're going to feel this very quickly. It's going to feel like you got a new PlayStation 6 and you're beta testing it before they launch it next year. Okay, because next year, we're going to launch the next 2 pillars of the Great Cataclysm. So we launched Pluto last year. Next year, by 6 months from now, or we could just say next year, we will have had the conjunction 2 Sun, Neptune, Saturn, and 2 Sun, Uranus. Boom, all 3 pillars activated. Okay. Up until then, before Jupiter goes into Leo, the moon going into before Jupiter goes into Leo next year, when Pluto goes over the moon, this is going to begin another 28-day cycle that's going to happen over the next 19 years now, coming into 2044, of a supernatural soul awakening. It is a collective activation happening to everybody that now individually we trickle down. How do you make sense of that? When you access the water from your fountain, that's your own water, but that water came from a collective source that everyone who's connected to that water line pulls from. We're going to use that analogy universally. Anything that happens in the last 4 zodiac signs is collective and then gets integrated individually. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, your individual mindset, thoughts, values, and identity around the universal aspects happening. And what do we do with the individual? We integrate it socially. We leave our house, go outside, and we talk and connect with other people. We terrorize other people with joy, love, and happiness. Okay. Which really, I said terrorize because Uranus in Gemini are going to be terrorizing ideas. This is and now this is why we have to, and I'm not trying to be funny here. Like the last time Uranus was in Gemini, World War II happened. The last time Neptune was in Aries, Civil War happened. So when you hear people talking about this, right? When you hear Netanyahu saying that, hey, Trump and I have a bag on our heads, you need to take it seriously. He's not just saying that. Like that's I didn't even know they had money on their heads. That was very interesting. Do you know who had a bag on his head when Saturn was opposite his sun and then he got popped in front of like an ice cream store? Yes, young Dolph. Okay. And the reason why I bring up war is because that's what's happening. We have to bring in past cycles and look at how they're kind of mirroring. So, young Dolph got killed when Saturn was opposite his sun because he had a bag on his head, right? Now Saturn is opposite Putin's son, Netanyahu's son, Kim Kardashian's son, every Libra, right? And if one of them is saying they have a bag on their head, it doesn't mean they're going to die, but it means that the pressure is real. And I'm just using him as an example to let you know the nature of what this next round of politics are. We hope that nobody dies before their time, because you see on both sides this very vicious, deeply emotionally and irrational hatred towards each other people. I'm not trying to say that we need to kumbaya this shit and work together, because that's never going to happen. But the hatred that people have for each other more than often is leading to this humanity's destruction, because people are not willing to actually work together. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. And squash this. We are basically headed towards this great cataclysm, this extraordinary cataclysm. I'm not hoping for that, and it doesn't have to happen that way, but that's just the path we're headed down. North Node on Saturn and Pisces kind of really let us know that group test was failed. But that being said, how do we get around this? Jordan, Emma, even though we failed the group test, you also had individual points. The only way you can get through this with Saturn testing your individual liberties in Aries is to maintain your own personal integrity. So now when the TA and the teacher goes back to the group test and see who did the work, she can give you guys extra points. Even though we all failed the group test, you may get a curve, because now since the group test was failed, the teacher is grading it on, okay, what was the individual work that was done? Seriously. Illuminati too. What was the individual work that was done in the group test? Since everyone failed the group test, we have to grade it individually now. And that's going to be Saturn through Cancer, 2025 to 2033. Basically everything that was done since 2018 with Saturn and Capricorn up until 2024 at a group level, now we're integrating that. Okay. So basically 2018 to 2020, everything you did Saturn Capricorn, now 2025 to 2027, you're being tested, retested. Now everything from 2021 to 2023, if you took it or you didn't take it, the results for that, of course, are coming now up until the end of Saturn Taurus, and then Saturn Pisces, Saturn Gemini. So that by 2033, when we go into Saturn Cancer, boom, we're getting ready to integrate a brand new society. Okay. So really, really keep that in mind. Where's the extra credit at? Really great question. That's Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and so Saturn and Neptune and Aries are looking for the new Ready Player One. A lot of nations are wanting a new face. What does our nation look like and represent with the new generation? And Uranus and Gemini is beta testing new technology. So some Geminis you may be getting ready to beta test like brand new perspectives. And it's not limited to Gemini, whatever Gemini is in your chart. But that moon in Aquarius now is not only going to reawaken this corruption of awakening of humanity, where the unhingedness of people around the world also take place around the time as the collective awakening of supernatural abilities of all people around the world. Yes, this will increasingly look and sound sci-fi. I don't know what to tell you. I wish it can make sense. Take the idea of things making logical and conventional sense out into the window. Because if we went by stats, if we went by what's usually happened, no president has ever really won the popular and the electoral vote, right? In a while like that. Trump kind of changed that. And it's not about him. It's really just more a sign of things that are changing that used to happen that don't happen anymore. That's just one of them. All right. If you look at this as a whole new world order that you can see as the Illuminati, I don't look at it as the Illuminati anymore. It's inevitable. Like, it's going to be a power grab of a 30-year cycle of who's going to be the most powerful individually and collectively. And yeah, the moon in Aquarius that's now going to transform how you feel is going to apply this breakthrough and utilization of these psychic powers. You're going to know what they are. Boom, the moon is going to go into Pisces. It's going to shift your beliefs. Now that you've understood the knowledge through Aquarius of applying this knowledgeable understanding that is supernaturally awakened with Pluto, and it's going to now give you a metaphysical, unseen understanding of, through your imagination, what you're feeling, why you're feeling it. All right, this is the final harvest that's going to produce the experience of your utilization of these new evolving psychic powers that will change your beliefs, because now you're experiencing things you can do that previously you didn't believe you can do. It's as simple as that. And so far, now up until next week, is all breakthrough. It's all harvest. I like these seasons I like full moon cycles. Actually, I was born after a full moon, so that's probably why. But I like full moon cycles because you see the most development and range. This is something that I have tested. I've applied the scientific method towards, and it works every time, just off of lunar cycles. That's why anyone who says astrology is bullshit, they're sucking the dick of someone who they're doing hearsay of someone who's just feeding them confirmation bias. Because if you do just a little bit of scientific method with astrology, you'll prove it yourself. Most of these people, if you ask them, have they read a natal chart? They haven't. Do they know what a trine or a sextile is? They haven't. So they don't have the authority to debunk it. I know on 2 separate occasions on a new moon, I set the intention to be better at something. All right. In this case, you've heard the story. I wanted to get better at the finger technique, and I wanted to get better at a certain sexual technique. When I planted the seed, I wasn't really able to break through with the finger technique. When that full moon came through, I experienced breakthrough, baby. I experienced breakthrough, baby. I experienced breakthrough, and I felt different. It felt good because I spent that 2 weeks having a montage and actually training. I want to use 3D-ish to let you know, even on a base level, this works. And then boom, the full moon came. I mastered it. Boom. Now that's something I got. Then I had another technique that by the full moon, boom, I broke through. So that really just locked to me in gear that full moons really do help break you through. Look, I had to give you a real example, guys. This is the only real example I could think of that has actually worked. All right, but that being said, no, don't hate now. That being said, regardless of the example, take advantage of these full moons, because you're definitely actively taking 2 weeks of activation from new moon to first quarter square, and then integration from first quarter square to opposition, and now you're breaking through. So you're going to understand, and that's the thing. This is not the reward cycle. You are understanding what specifically you're breaking through. So and that's something to keep in mind. We don't complete until after harvest, because harvesting is still a part of the job. You still have to go out into the field and harvest and reap what it is you sowed. Okay. And of course, now, right, once we come into the completion and you've now broken through this metaphysical understanding and shift of belief towards what this new evolution of who you feel you are and what you're doing is. Boom, you complete the cycle by understanding who you are with these new clothes, the emperor's new clothes, let's just say, right? You're feeling the authentic original understanding of this new evolving psychic power. You've completed the harvest, and that shows you the accomplishments relative to who you feel you are. And then you come into the rewards with the moon in Taurus relative to what that is worth, what value belongs around these new feelings. Boom, are these harvested feelings. The moon goes over Uranus for the first time, so this is going to be our first moon Uranus Gemini transit, unless we had one last month. Actually, let's just make sure. No, it was in Taurus, baby. So this is going to be the first moon Uranus. Like, this whole season is amazing. Before we even step into Leo, we are going to end it off pretty much with the balsamic phase. I want to show you that right here. Basically, we're going to have that 29 to 29 degree aspect, which is very significant, which means we're getting close to starting the seasons off on the new moon. It's going to take a few more months. So you can see the irregular nature of how the moon can move and shift the like, if we go like 13 months from now, when we end the season, the moon might be opposite it. So just to let you know, and that's just the really cool thing about cycles. They don't all flow equally all the time. There's an equal space here, but we have to account for, of course, delineations of a few degrees here and there. But this is how we're ending Cancer season, with the balsamic aphasia. And then, of course, we will step into the sun opposition to Leo, where you guessed it, that's where we're going to have the new moon. So this is going to be an epic ass new moon, guys. Can't make this shit up. Why is that important? Because now 6 months ago, every year we have sun on, of course, Pluto. This is an activation for the next 20 years till 2044 of supernatural energy. When I'm talking about the force, when I'm talking about these supernatural abilities that everyone is awakening collectively, but not everyone really believes this shit is possible. So there will be a limit to how much people actually express versus those who take a conscious element or a conscious approach towards it and will actually fly and do all sorts of weird shit, because weird really means supernatural. This is the basis of such. Every time the sun goes over these pillars, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and even Jupiter. Okay, so this right here, every year, very important. Once we get to like 2030, 2040, these conjunctions are going to happen at the end. And like 2020, where we were finishing and awakening our bodies, now this is mental. This is why Aquariuses are on a war path. Like Aquas are awakening, and that's very terrifying. That being said, though, what we started 6 months ago, we will now finally harvest. And as a part of a new moon, Mercury has to retrograde, because now on stage, you're producing and breaking through this supernatural energy that we spent May activating, and then from May to August integrating. So every year from February to August is that pipeline to where we break through the rest of the year. This is going to be the boss battle every year until 2044. Then we'll shift to Pisces and Virgo. Last year, in the last few years, it was Capricorn and Cancer, if you remember. The individual feelings against the collective mandates. That being said, of course, now the way you can look at this is you're writing the book every year, and then by August, you're performing it by heart. You memorize the lines in Gemini to where you can speak it, and now you're adding gusto to it. Okay. So that being said, what's very significant is that, that Uranus opposition in Sagittarius is going to be very interesting. So what's interesting is we know that over the next 2 weeks, we're going to break through and complete this definition of psychic power. That will have completed the first perspective, individual raw power in Aries, late March through April, where we activated a new sense of who we are. And then Saturn and Aries went in to now bring more authority through this definition. New energy, individual value, Taurus, right? The new raw power in Aries, we now grounded and strengthened the physical quality of individual thought form, Gemini, the original magic, right? Now taking our raw power and values and communicating it, building mindsets, and now individual psychic metahuman power, which everyone has. But of course, Capricorn oppositions, a materialist, reductionist authority will suppress and gaslight you your whole life. Or, because that's not the nature of the sign, this is just the way we contemporarily use it. Ideally, Capricorn provides structures to facilitate more of this intuitive understanding. All right. But of course, you know, the yin and yang are not fully balanced. And this expresses itself in gender wars with men and women arguing, but both sound fucking stupid. All right. Like, it's so crazy. Women have a very irrational way of sounding dumb as fuck. And men have a very rational way of sounding dumb as fuck. But both people just sound stupid. So this is teaching us, really, we can argue back and forth until we actually come together. We're just going to ruin everything. Who cares, though? Who really cares about that? I guess it's more sensational to just argue with each other. All right. That being said, you feel me? Basically, now that we have this individuality done, it's time to socially integrate. That's Leo, that's Virgo, that's Libra, that's Scorpio. We have a really good social lineup this summer. Leo is going to bring us the opposition and to Pluto and sextile to Uranus and trine to Saturn. That's what's going to really, you know, set us on track towards what we're really meant to step into. I know what song you talk about. Virgo's going to bring in the eclipse. All right. That's going to unlock what we began to believe in March. Libra is going to bring us the opposition to Neptune, but really the trine to Pluto and Uranus that are retrograding. And then Scorpio is going to bring the retrograded Jupiter and also everything getting ready to go direct. Sagittarius is now going to be the beginning of the gods, but it doesn't oppose Uranus until, as you can see, next year, once the pillar is activated. So something to keep in mind. A lot of 2025 is a sneak peek of 2026. All right. 2025 transitions us from PS5 to PS6. And then 2026 is where every store has PS6s. Like, you started 2025 with PS5s in your stores. I know I'm using video game analogies with switches, right? But this year we started to see the phasing out of switches with Switch 2s. By next year, everything has a Switch 2. Like, we've phased everything out the rest of this year, and now we're ready to move forward with GTA 6 and all these new IPs next year. There's a renaissance here. We are in the midst of one of the greatest cultural renaissances of all times. Industrial revolutions. In fact, I won't even say it's an industrial in nature, but it's revolutions happening right in front of our face. And this isn't psychic ability. Everyone knows this. If you don't read tarot or astrology, you know that we're in the midst of a revolution. So, like, it's nice to see how we can tie it into the stars. But, like, we're here, guys. We're here. And a lot of this revolution and renaissance has everything to do with pioneering these revolutionary ideas that will probably get you in trouble. But as long as it's the truth, you can have solace and at least standing up for speaking what's, you know, not a fucking lie. And other than that, guys, that's what to expect over the next 2 weeks. As far as the ritual or ceremony that we're doing, if you remember, 2 weeks ago, I did tell you to write something on a piece of paper. Shout out to Cheza. Right on time for sure. If you remember, during the new moon, I did tell you to write a piece of paper what you feel you already have. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to burn it and release it. This keeping it over the next 2 weeks was holding on to that intention. With full moons, we release said intentions. We are now breaking through. And there's nothing for you to do but to just reap what you have sowed. And that's really now the way we teach astrology, where, yeah, the planets affect you like weather affects you, but they don't make your decisions for you. Okay. And what I mean by that is basically what you reap is not dependent on the astrological transits, it's dependent on what you sowed the past 2 weeks, what work you put in with these astrological transits, or while these transits were happening. It's all dependent on you, right? You, and that's what we aim to teach with this. You rule over the stars. The stars may exist outside, right? We're in the solar system, but you co-create with these dynamics. You are not controlled by these dynamics, albeit even if somewhat influenced. And that's really the edge that we take. You are the director in a way. Your decision, right? Like when it rains outside, the rain doesn't make you put on a raincoat. You make the decision to put a raincoat on. Okay, so the rain didn't make you put that on. You decide, do I want an umbrella? Do I want an umbrella and a raincoat? Do I just want to get wet? You're the one that makes the decision. Even though weather will influence how you do what you do, you make that decision. Astrology is just space meteorology. And that's why I say you wouldn't call a meteorologist a psychic if he told you it's going to rain and it rains, right? We get angry at the meteorologist if he says it's going to rain, but it doesn't rain. But that's just part of the job. Sometimes the interpretation may not fully happen the way it does. So there's a reason why people take that attitude towards astrology and treat it like fortune telling. It has been a long sought campaign to delegitimize the true scientific I'm tired of people calling this a soft science, the hard and soft scientific nature of astrology, the one true science. And everyone who will tell you isn't true cannot tell you what their chart ruler is, doesn't know their moon sign, and can't even tell you the difference between an opening or closing trine. And for those of you who want to know, an opening trine is 120 degrees, a closing trine is 240 degrees. Astronomical terms, mind you. That's not astrological term, that's an astronomical term. So keep that in mind. Keep that very much so in mind. Some people who will tell you that the precession of the equinoxes change cannot tell you the difference between the zodiac and a constellation. And those are the people you're trying to tell you about yourself. Those are the like I hope this season is teaching you that you've taken advice or you've listened to people who have no authority and no business telling you anything about yourself. It really should be the other way around. But that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this breakthrough. I'm going to release this intention, whether you wrote something down or not, whatever it is you felt you're breaking through in over the past 2 weeks. It's now time for you to just affirm that. I do have the Ultimate Manifestation playlist down below, you know. And yeah, yo. I guess on that note, do I want to leave off with anything? All right. You guys stay blessed as always. Once again, am I doing any readings? Yes, I still have my readings available. My 70% sale is no longer active, but I do have slightly discounted readings. So I took like $100 or $50 off the usual price. I am not booked up. I am actually free and open. So I highly recommend you guys book with me, join my app, por favor. And I mean for free. Like if you're not on that, if you're not on my app, please click the description box below and join it for free. Like I'm not saying you have to join a membership immediately, but trust me, it mean the most. You guys stay blessed as always. The app is supernatural. So for anyone new joining, I'm just going to end with this in case you guys missed it. The link is down below and I'll see you guys later.
From the Peace Deal.
Okay.
Features 2 seasons. Supernatural is an app where you can access exclusive content from the Peace Deal. On the app features 2 seasons of the Midheaven podcast featuring Beyond the Veil. We also have Mystical Illuminations Television, which features membership exclusive content like the monthly tribe reports and the replays of the monthly peace reports we do every month. We also have exclusive series like World War Zero and Astrological profiles. These series are examples of content that you can access on the app before they are eventually scheduled to YouTube and other social media platforms. For example, my Planets Through the Sign series will be scheduled to release once a week. However, as they are uploaded on the app, you will have full access to the entire series weeks before any of them appear on any other platform. We also offer easily accessible and interactive courses like my Astro 101 to Astro 105 series that give you a thorough introduction to astrology. We will also be periodically adding courses, and as those courses are available, members will be able to access them. We also have an amazing community that you are most welcome to join and chat with other like minds. It is not necessary to subscribe in order to use this app, as there is also a free default access plan that will give you access to most of the series in the app that are free and publicly available. In order to join, go to the website supernatural.passion.io. You can alternatively download from the App Store passion.io. Once the app is downloaded and it asks to find an app, simply type in Supernatural. Once the app itself is approved by Google and Apple, you will only need to type in Supernatural in the App Store and it will pop up. But until then, those are two alternative methods you can use to join us. So with all that being said, I look forward to you joining us on the other side as you become supernatural.